Welcome back, my beautiful people, to STR News and Digest, your go-to place for everything related to STR, travel, and the business of hospitality. Today, I want to talk about a very, very important topic, and it's more important today than ever before. And the topic of today, and it's the only subject I'm going to touch on today. I may go off on a tangent here and there, as I always do. And that is the importance of having a direct booking website and not being dependent on any OTA, specifically Airbnb. I'm going to give you some personal examples of what's been going on with us. And if it's happening to us, I know it's happening across the board. In prior STR News and Digest, I mentioned that Airbnb, Verbal is also in the process of doing the same, as well as Booking.com. And they are currently purging, getting rid of tons, and I say thousands into the hundreds of thousands of short-term rentals. They're kicking them off the platform. But the biggest problem, and the one that's causing the most havoc is Airbnb. I've been saying it before. Airbnb isn't your friend. They haven't been your friend for years, if not almost a decade. They have too many short-term rental operators on their platform, and they want to control the ones that they have. So if you're not part, or if you don't relinquish part of your property to one of their STR managers, I'm here to tell you, you are in trouble, because they're leaning into having full control of every aspect of their business, and you being an independent short-term rental operator is not part of their business plan. So I'm going to go into that in a second, and we're going to dive deep into all related to that. Now, let me first give you an example of a direct booking website for those that are not familiar. I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to show you my direct booking website. And then we're going to go into probably 10. I'm going to give you 10 reasons as to why you need to have a direct booking website. You need to be marketing for you and your company. And you need to 100% try to eliminate Airbnb altogether from your portfolio. Because I'm telling you, if you don't eliminate them, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. In time, if you're an independent operator, they're going to eliminate you anyway. And that's one of the things that I'm seeing, not only in my business, but with the people that I consult as short-term rental operators. I can tell you that us in my portfolio, I've already had 3 properties taken off Airbnb, completely off Airbnb. Properties that have over 6 years on their platform, but they're going back from day one and they're looking at every review. And again, I'm going to talk about reviews in a second because it's incumbent on you to make sure whenever you get a bad review that you do everything you can to get that review removed, rebuttal it, and or take aggressive action into offsetting that bad review, right? But we're going to go into that in a minute. Right now, let me share my screen, as I mentioned. And as always, guys, if you're watching, put it in the, say hi. If you have any questions, put them in the comment. We'll touch on them after I'm done with the presentation, and then I'll go to a short Q&A. Today has to be short, a short live. And the reason today has to be short live is because today Brazil plays at 6 p.m. and I need to watch Brazil play. So in the World Cup. Okay, let me share my screen, as I was saying. Boom, share screen. All right, so this is our website, right? This is our direct booking website. Now, our website does a lot of different things. And if you look at the header, I'm going to go over a few. But the first thing I want to talk about, and this is hugely important because it's unrelated to having direct bookings, but it's important for the survival of your business. I've always said that your network can equal to and also demonstrate what your net worth is. So as a result of that, for us, our biggest partners are real estate agents. Real estate agents are a core of our business. And if you're a short-term rental operator, it should be a core of your business. So we have a referral program, and I believe a very lucrative referral program for real estate agents that refer clients to us, and agents that are, especially in today's market, man, you have to figure out how to get additional income, especially recurring income, that are outside of sales. You know, if you are a real estate agent today, you know that today the market is not in your favor. It is not 2020, 2021, 2022, where those years, everyone, whether you were a brand new agent or a seasoned agent, you were killing it because the market was super hot. It's not super hot right now. So anyway, I'm going to quickly go over our referral program, and then we're going to jump right back into the main topic, which is direct bookings, right? So this is our referral program. It's on our website. You can check it out. But I'm going to give you a quick overview. You get $350 for every successful referral, meaning if we sign that person up, you're going to get, after the first 30 days, you will get $350. If that person, after 5 referrals in a 12 calendar year, you get a $150 bonus. Plus, you get 10% discount for all your clients if they're looking for short-term rentals. You're going to have a personal code that you can give your clients that can book on our website. They will get a 10% discount, and you make 10% of that booking. Okay, so these are additional referrals, but highly recommend you take a look at the full details. There's a submit referral page on there. Submit your information, submit your referral. We'll try to close that deal. And if we're successful in doing it, then you'll get that bonus. And that also includes relationship with investors. If you're a real estate agent and you're not that well versed in short-term rentals, but you want to start, digging in or dipping your toes in working with investors, because I think those are the most lucrative partners that you can have, are real estate investors, then hit us up, because we will help you close those deals. You get the commission, we get the client as the management company, and then we can work together. It's a win-win for everyone when we work together. So we have that investor relationship, referrals, and acquisitions, right? So just look that up. All right, let me go into what's important, right? Here is our direct booking website. If you go, like I said, if you go to our website, we have vacation rentals. We have our property management side of the website that explains everything we do in terms of property management. But right now, for this live stream, I specifically want to talk about our vacation rentals. So it's really simple. We have our properties. All you really have to do is where you want to go. And we have properties all, throughout the US and South America. When you want to check in, when you want to check out, your number of guests, and just hit search. And then the properties will come up. We have highlighted some of our properties. This will rotate. But here's the beauty about it, right? When someone books directly with us, they automatically get a 15% discount, because if you book with Airbnb and some of these other platforms, you're going to be paying an additional fee. And here's what's important you guys need to understand, right? Airbnb has I'm going to use the Airbnb platform, right? They have an option for short-term rental operators. The option is that the operator will observe the fees related to a booking, or you split the fees with the guest, right? The guest will pay a portion of the fee, and then the operator pays a portion of the fee. In most cases, most operators choose to split it. And won't go into a lot of the details, but if you're new and you got caught with the mandatory, that's not mandatory, when you went in there where you incurred the entire guest fee, Airbnb doesn't tell you this, but you can go into your settings and go back to the old way of splitting it. Now, it doesn't really matter if you're splitting it or you're not. At the end of the day, Airbnb encourages everyone to just make it more expensive to offset the cost. So I'm telling you that chances are you're going to be paying more when you book on Airbnb than most other platforms, with the exception of Booking.com. Booking.com, for some reason, it's even our properties are more expensive on Booking.com than any other OTA platform. Second most expensive is Airbnb. I can tell you that right now because we offset that 15% cost that they charge us to advertise on their platform. So we bake that 50% into the price. But if you book direct, you save a minimum of 15%. And I can tell you that our rates, on top of the fact that you're saving the OTA fee, we purposely do a 10 to 15% rate discount above all other platforms because we want your business, right? We're saving from having you book direct. So we pass that saving on to you. So it's much cheaper when you book direct. Here's a tip that I do when I travel to an area where I don't have a property. I use the Airbnb platform to find a property, but I never book on Airbnb. I use it to find a property. Then I search the owner or to see if the owner has that property on other OTAs, and I book on their platforms. I never book on Airbnb, never, because you overpay when you book on Airbnb. All right, so that's one component that I want to touch on, right? I showed you the website. Get something very similar to that. It could be very basic or it can be elaborate. On our website, we attach, let me go back to my website for a second. Where's my website? Okay. On our website, when you book a property, let's say I'm booking this one, right? It gives you all the information on there. But once you book that property, we also give you options for similar properties in that area. So let's say, for example, you're looking at my lake house property, which is this one, right? So you're looking at that property. And for some reason, this property is booked for the days you want it. We're going to offer you 3 other options, right? Or let's say this property is available. We're still going to offer you 3 other options that are either a little less expensive, not with less amenities, or more expensive, like here, luxury, right? Our luxury home with pool, and or we can offer you this property that's more expensive, but it's much bigger property, much more luxurious, just so you can have options, right? This is one of the things we do. In addition to that, once you book with us, you're going to have a digital guidebook that gives you, points of interest, restaurants we recommend, and also some upsells on our part, like bike rentals, car rentals, boat rentals, all that stuff. We're going to send that to you. You're going to have it at your fingertip, and you can book on there. And we, again, just like we do with our rentals, those additional auxiliary stuff, we put them on there, but the providers have to give our guests a discount, so you pay less when you do it on from us. All right, let me stop sharing my screen for a second. Let me go back here, and let's go back and let's talk about reason number 1, right? As to why you need a a direct booking website and why you should own that customer. And the answer is right there. When you have a direct booking website and somebody books direct, you own that customer. It's not an Airbnb customer. It is your customer, and you control every aspect of that guest experience from A through Z. You don't have, it's frustrating when you call, when you book an Airbnb and you need to speak to customer service, and all you get are either AI bots or someone out of China, the Philippines, or India, and you have a difficult time communicating with them, right? With us, that's not the case, right? You're not going to have those situations, right? When you book direct, right, you control the communications from the platform. There's no restrictions on your part. It's whatever your policies can implement. You control the customer data, which is the most important component, that customer data. Companies pay millions, if not billions of dollars to get your information. You will have it and you're not paying for it. You control the booking experience. When a guest books direct, they're your customer. I'm just going down the list here. You can market to them again, right? When you get a guest on Airbnb, if you don't have the proper processes and procedures to collect their email, you can't remarket them. It's difficult to do because they're Airbnb's guests and they don't want you to have their information. In our case, we get the information regardless, but we get it after they book, right? And again, they're not my property. They're not my customer. Reason number 2 is, again, I discussed it earlier, is the higher profit margins. Every booking platform charges a fee, people, and you are going to pay that fee, and your guest pays a fee. So you save your guests money and you save yourself money when they book direct. Reason number 3, I'm going to go kind of quick here. If you guys have any questions, just list them in the comments and we'll try to answer them. But reason number 3 is you can start to build a guest database, or what we refer to in the industry, an email marketing list. This is important. It's one of the biggest assets of any business is that customer database. The bigger your customer database is, the more your company is worth. I can tell you that venture capitalists will pay huge money for businesses that have a huge customer database. Okay, I won't go into a lot of that, but that's huge. Let me see what else. Number 4 is building brand recognition, right? You want to build your recognition. This is why, even early on, I never referred to my business as an Airbnb business. You never heard me say that. In fact, I hate that. I hate when people refer to, oh, you're in the Airbnb business. No, I'm not in the Airbnb business. I'm in the short-term rental business. Airbnb is its own entity. It's become synonymous, which is great because, Airbnb made short-term rentals popular. I give them credit for that. They spend millions, if not billions of dollars getting the word out for short-term rentals. I applaud them for that. And in the beginning, I can tell you, I was one of the first people who hosted on their platform early on. I'm talking about early on. In the early 2000, 2001, 2002, right? And they were great to us. Why? Because they needed us. They don't need us anymore. So they're not great to us anymore. But now it's important that you build your brand. You want people to know you and your company as a short-term rental operator, right? You don't want them to think Airbnb, because where are they going to go? They're going to go to Airbnb. We don't want that. We want them to think about dream vacations and rentals. That's what our goal is, dream vacations and rentals. If you want to go to South Florida to stay and have vacation there, look up dream vacations and rentals. That's what we want. And you want to do the same thing for your business. Number 5, Better control of marketing, your photos, your videos, your promotions, your blog content, your SEO, all that stuff you control. And when you have a website, you control all that because that's on your website. You could add videos to your properties. That's so important and the first company to do it is Verbal. When you advertise on Verbal today, you have the ability to post videos, which videos sell, people. Video is more important than photos. So on your website, you can do walking tours, right? You can do a video tour of your property. Sells, right? Marketing is huge. Number 6, search engine visibility, right? When someone searches you, they can find you when you have a website, right? When someone searches your property, if you don't have a website, and this, I would recommend you try this, especially if you are starting out and you just built a website. Google your property as a short-term rental. If you've been on Airbnb for a while, it'll probably show up on Airbnb, not on your website. So that's why I think it's important that you start to build your website, maximize your SEO, focus on that. Now, you're never going to beat out Airbnb unless you become a multi-million-dollar company and have the deep pockets like Airbnb does for marketing. I don't have that, right? I don't have the marketing dollars that they have, but I don't care. I want them to market my property. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be working on my brand and promoting my properties so people can book direct. And I do that through social media because it's the least expensive form. But today, I've already talked about this millions of times on this channel, Instagram and TikTok, #1 search engines for travel. So just keep that in mind. Number 7 is more flexibility. If something happens, you have the flexibility to negotiate with that potential guest, or if that guest is on your property and there's issues, you have the ability to make it right without having to deal with Airbnb. Number 8, better long-term business value. I just mentioned the importance of having a email marketing list or a database for your customer because that increases the value of your business. But it also having a direct booking site that you can demonstrate brings in a lot of revenue to your company. Like, for example, for us, Airbnb is still #1, but we are #2 when it comes to the bookings that come into our website. #2, right? We beat out Booking, we beat out Verbal, we beat out all the other OTAs. The only one and we're close. The only one that still dominates, it's Airbnb. Still dominates, but because they're trying to purge us, we're starting to see, and I purposely purposely focus on having a bigger footprint on other OTAs to take away some of Airbnb's market share from us, right? Number 9 is protection against market changes. Here, this is big, people. You don't control what happens on other platforms. You definitely don't control what happens on Airbnb. I just talked about how they purged hundreds of thousands of properties off their platform. You don't control that. And if you're dependent on them, you're screwed if they suspend you or they just simply kick you off, right? Having control of your destiny is important. You should have that control. You should not give that control over anyone else. So that, for me, number 9, protection against market changes, it's huge. Again, Airbnb can change their policy tomorrow and say, like, for example, what they did last year with the guest service fee. In the past, before last year, it was always split. There was no option. The guest pays a portion of the fee and you paid a portion of the fee. Our portion was only 3%. Last summer, they changed that. They made everybody pay 15% to advertise on. Oh, they make every operator, not the guest, every operator pay 15% of the fee, right? They changed that. We had no control over it. They realized that was a huge mistake, so they quietly changed the back, but you have to go into the settings and change it. And they didn't tell anybody that. So you control that, right? Your protection. And number 10, business survival. For all the reasons I just mentioned, the most important reason is direct booking website literally saves your business. Again, because you're not dependent on anyone else. When you're dependent on Airbnb, I'm telling you, it can be a huge disaster. They can suspend you. They can give huge refunds, and you have no control. Again, I'm going to give you another example on Airbnb that they changed, and that's with chargebacks. In the past, you didn't have to worry about chargebacks with Airbnb. Today, you have to worry about chargebacks with Airbnb. They can withhold your money, and they're not perfect. I can tell you, we've done plenty of audits throughout the year and found out at the end of the year that Airbnb owed us thousands of dollars, and we have to go back and fight them to get that money. So I won't belabor the subject anymore. Hope you understand the importance of having your own website and why marketing is important. If you are a short-term rental operator out there and you're watching this and you think this is way, you've gotten yourself way over your head, hire us. We will help you monetize your property. We'll help you manage your property, and no one's going to do it better for less money than we will. And we can demonstrate through data how much money we're going to be saving you and making you over if you try to do it yourself. I always said this, right? Because there's statistics tell us that over 75% of all Airbnb listings, it used to be 90% of all Airbnb listings are being managed and operated by mom and pop operators. And most mom and pop operators don't do this full time. They do it part time. I'm here to tell you, man, that's a huge mistake. You're not a property management company, and you shouldn't be. You should be an investor, and as an investor, you should follow the rich dad poor dad method, where you should be a passive investor. That property should be making money for you while you sleep, and you shouldn't be putting a lot of effort into it. That's what a management company will do for you, specifically us. So again, if you are looking for help, send us an email, put it in the comment. We'll have one of my staff members will reach out to you, and then they'll get the preliminaries, and that I will personally talk to you about managing your property. I don't care where it is in the world, managing your property, helping you with direct bookings, helping you control your accounting, and more importantly, taking away all the headaches that most short-term rental operators have when they manage on their own. Anyway, my beautiful people, hope this was useful. If it was, again, put it in the comments, say hi. Hold on, let me see if there's any questions. Lorena, are there any questions? I got to put my glasses on for this because do you know any agency that builds website like this? Yes, the Dream Media team. My media company will help you build a website, help you create great media content, and again, we will help you advertise and market your property. It'll be great. It'd be phenomenal if you hire us as a package, right? Hire us to manage your property and the Dream Media team to market it outside of what we normally do, right? As a property management company, we will market your property by advertising it on our website, on our social media, and and putting you on as many OTAs as possible. That's how we market it. Plus, we will direct, we will use our customer database to help book your properties, right? That's huge. Our booking, we pride ourselves of bringing direct bookings to our clients. But if you want to, again, survival, I talked about that, why you should have your own direct booking website. But by hiring the Dream Media team, we will help market your business as an entity of itself. Your own Instagram, your own TikTok, your own YouTube, so that if in the future we decide to sell, or something happens that we're no longer in the picture, you're still viable because you're going to have your own marketing plan in place that we will provide. All you have to do is either pick up the slack on the management side or find another property manager to manage it, but the marketing aspect will be taken care of, right? And by then, because we plan to be here for a very long time, by then you will have your own database established that we will help you establish. Next question. All right.
Yeah, no more question.
No, perfect. See, no more questions, guys. If you're watching the World Cup, root for Brazil. Brazil plays today. Okay. Here's my teams, guys. Here's my teams. Here are the teams that I'm rooting for. And I don't have any particular favorite, but I don't care if any of these make it to the finals. Obviously, I want the U.S. to do well. Colombia, Argentina, and Brazil. Those are my teams right there. All right, my beautiful people. Love you guys. See you in the next one. My luxury Airbnb isn't getting booked. Even though my property is in perfect condition, has all the best amenities, and I always respond quickly to all the inquiries, my occupancy rate doesn't go higher than 20 and 30%. That's the story that I hear all the time from short-term rental operators. But don't stress, because that's what we're here for. When you partner with us, you do not have to worry about anything. We will handle it all. We'll make sure that we give you the correct and proper marketing strategy so that you can reach that 80, 90% occupancy rate that most of us desire. You heard that right. When you partner with us, you don't have to worry about a thing, and we'll make sure that you reach that occupancy rate that you so desire. Just DM me the word partner.